Hey everyone, good morning in the States. I am up at the Royal Palace on top of, Castle Hill here in Budapest. You can see behind me the beautiful Parliament building that I'm going to be touring soon enough today. But I'm heading further south, so I've shed the jacket. You see beautiful blue skies behind me. This is a fantastic city. I was only going to spend a night here. I've already moved it to two. I think two's probably going to do me, but you never know. This has been known in the past as the Paris of the East, and I really see why. It's just gorgeous. We're going to pan a little bit here. As I said, over there you've got the Parliament building. The river here you see is the Danube that travels all the way to the Black Sea. And you can see out a little bit the domed cathedral there. You can see the Baroque cathedral. That is St. Stephen's Basilica. Something I just learned, if you've never heard of a basilica, what that means is it's somehow in honoring of a saint. Even has maybe special, has some of the saint's items actually there on display. So I'm learning my architecture, I'm learning my churches and different things. And then off in the distance, I know the sun is probably causing a problem. You can probably just barely see that statue on top of the hill out there. That is the Freedom Statue in Budapest, and I saw that yesterday. There's so much to do in this city. You can tour that beautiful Parliament building. They've got a great market hall where you can go and get lunch. I think for about €3.80 yesterday, I had a lunch full of basically snack bacon pieces, banana chips with chocolate, chocolate milk, nice pastry, and a bowl of goulash. It was just fantastic. All for about American $5. Really fascinating that you can get that much food for so little. So this is a real reasonable city and just very pretty. I plan to go to the baths later today. They've got the Hungarian baths, and I feel like this afternoon, after all the miles of walking I've done in Europe, would be a good time to go and relax a bit. I did want to share a story while I was here. You know, one of the things I love, I've said many times before, one of the things I love about the hostels is the people you meet. Generally, you meet other young travelers, and that's the most common. You know, a lot of Australians, other Europeans, just talking about our journeys. But today, as I sat down for breakfast, I had put on my podcast of the Today Show, and they were going over some political news. And I noticed about 15 feet away an older lady listening in, and I invited her to join me. And she was from Great Britain, but had been spending the last 40 years in America as a professor at Western Kentucky. And she hadn't heard any news in a while, and so we sat and watched the Today Show news together, and we chatted for a while. For a couple hours, we got to the end of the conversation where she said she had mentioned that she had grown up in London. And based on her age, I asked the question, was she there for the bombing when the Germans bombed London? And it turns out she was. And you know, like I've said many times, I'm probably a buff is a strong word for my World War II, because I think buffs probably know a lot more than I do. I'm a fan of the World War II, the knowledge, the history of it. And so being able to sit with this woman, she's telling stories that I had never heard as a child growing up in London during that bombing. Maybe you've heard this, maybe you haven't, but I thought I'd share a few. She talked about how when the Germans weren't bombing, they were dropping candy for the kids because sugar had been rationed, and so they were dropping candy. I don't know if you know why, if you want to take a second to think about it. My original thought was they dropped candy for the kids as like propaganda to say, hey, see, not bad, you know, us Germans aren't that terrible. It turns out it was poison. They had dropped, hoping the kids would pick up the candy, or the people would pick it up and eat it and then die. I thought that was amazing. The kids would go to school every day with a piece of paper in their pockets with an address on it. And that piece of paper was an address that the teacher should send them to in case their house was destroyed in the bombing. Every kid had to have that piece of paper for their alternate home in case they went to school that day, and then when school was over, they no longer had a house. And the last one, the kids all had to wear a gas mask every day just to get used to the sensation of it. And the way they would wear the gas masks or have their gas masks is they'd put Mickey Mouse ears on them to try and make them a little less intimidating for the children. So little children would have Mickey Mouse ears on their gas masks. And this wonderful lady told me, she said the government recalled them after the war was over, and she was sad to see hers go because she liked the Mickey Mouse ears. But just fascinating stuff we might otherwise not learn. Anyway, I know I'm pushing 5 minutes here, so I'm going to go and wrap this up. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. Bucharest is looking like a bit of a challenge. I might go straight to Croatia. I'll probably figure it out this evening while I'm watching another newscast with my new British/American friend. But somehow, some way, I will get some broadcast out, and I hope everybody's doing well and getting ready for a great weekend in the States. Take care.